Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is SCP-056 versus SCP-973. Sending out a lot of love. I've been getting messages that my videos haven't been getting recommended to you guys, so I need you guys to share the videos and do whatever you can to get me in the algorithm. I must be shadow banned or something like that. Anyways, let's pop off with this video.
Warning lights flash, and heavy boots stomp down the sanitized hallways of Site-19. A mobile task force has been dispatched, wielding heavy weaponry and wearing tactical gear. But underneath their jet black armor, these mobile task operatives are sweating. The SCP thereafter has a very particular set of skills that make them a nightmare to people like this team. Plainly put, anything that the mobile task force can do, the Anomaly can do better. Because the anomaly that chose to breach containment is SCP-056, codenamed a beautiful person.
Oh, it's a
This
beautiful
shape-shifting
person.
being takes the form of a superior version of whatever object or entity it encounters, though typically only by a relatively slim margin. The Foundation has no real way of truly containing SCP-056 because of the unique nature of its anomalous abilities. Instead, their tactic has long been playing to the truly toxic ego of the creature, designing the containment chamber more like a luxury hotel room, perfectly suited to 056's refined taste. However, as a sentient being with a mean streak, keeping an entity like 056 permanently caged is rarely as simple as sprucing up said cage. Some days, like today, 056 will want a change of scenery, and on those days, there's almost nothing the Foundation can do to stop it. As the mobile task forces dispatched to Site-19 scan the halls and spool through security footage, desperately hoping to find some clue as to the vain creature's presence, 056 is actually long gone. Having assumed the form of a handsome, charming scientist after an average-looking scientist with bad social skills walked past its containment chamber, 056 had slipped out of the site undetected before anyone even realized that a breach had occurred. Then, seeing a vulture fly overhead, 056 had taken the form of a bald eagle and flown further, leaving the isolated Site-19 in the dust. 056 is ready and eager.
It's such a broken ability. Oh my gosh. I'm starting to treat SCP like Quark's-like abilities, man. That's insane.
For a night on the town, but when 056 decides it's going to paint the town red, it doesn't always mean it in the metaphorical sense. 056 arrives in a small American town, like many that pop up along lonely desert highways. Noticing a plain, unremarkable woman walking past, it immediately transforms into an absolute stunner with fine diamond jewelry and an expensive-looking red dress. As she walks to a local diner, she turns heads from everyone she passes, doing nothing to hide her conceited smirk. I really should do this more often, she thinks. When she passes a self-conscious-looking woman with a fake Gucci handbag, 056 suddenly manifests the real deal, brimming with stacks of cash and even more jewelry. Everywhere she goes, her mere presence makes people feel terrible about themselves, and she couldn't be happier. She walks into a local diner where a report on the radio is detailing abandoned, wrecked cars found along the side of a local highway. There were bodies inside in horrific states, so horrific that they couldn't even...
What's the SCP it goes against? 973? I forgot what 973 is. I guess we'll find out when we get there. Because I'm over here thinking, like, what SCP would go against this one?
The details on the
or what would be a cool matchup.
056 doesn't care about any of that. She simply orders some pancakes in the diner and rudely asks the cashier if he can break a $100 bill.
Does it even need to eat?
Pancakes. She takes a single bite before throwing them at the wall and complaining about how terrible they are, then leaving. She takes joy in knowing how awful this will make people feel. On the way out, she decides to take a shortcut down a dark alley, where a woman in expensive clothes, carrying an expensive purse brimming with money, is liable to attract the wrong kind of attention. Two muggers, one armed with a switchblade and the other armed with a gun, emerge from the darkness, wearing malicious grins. That purse looks a little heavy there, lady, one of the muggers says. Yeah, how about you let us carry it for you? The other adds. 056 smiles and says, are you sure you have the upper body strength?
Damn.
Take kindly to this. As the two muggers prepare to beat this strange woman within an inch of her life and steal all her earthly belongings, she suddenly transforms, shifting into a ripped kung fu master in white robes.
Oh, shoot.
Before either of the muggers can respond to this baffling transformation, 056, in his kung fu master form, is beating the living hell out of them. and leaving the dastardly duo in a crumpled heap on the ground as he walks away, whistling a merry tune. But making women feel inadequate, insulting small...
I'm just gonna have to say that 056 must have adapted to the form of being speedier than the average human reaction speed, because how did the guy with the gun not fire it? I just don't ever understand scenarios like that, but okay, I'll believe it. Suspension of disbelief.
All businesses and beating up petty criminals isn't enough for SCP-056.
Literally hit the guy with the knife
unpleasant
first.
Anomaly has the need for
Literally hit the guy with the knife first.
speed, and the best way to achieve that need is to obtain a car, or perhaps, even better, become one. Not long after the thought passes his mind, 056 arrives at a parking lot. He looks over the various parked cars, most of which are unremarkable specimens. That is, until he comes across a parked Ferrari.
Oh,
and feels
yeah.
his imagination begin to soar with possibilities. A Ferrari? Oh, I can do better than that. In the following moments, SCP-056 flawlessly shapeshifts into a brand new, cherry red Bugatti sports car and starts doing gleeful donuts in the parking lot. 056 then puts the pedal to the metal and speeds out onto the road, where it can pick up some real speed, having no idea that for once it would attract some attention it didn't want. But 056 doesn't care about that yet.
973 must be the weird ass cop shit. Oh, that shit is so creepy. Or at least the drawing of it was, but I don't know if that was like the real drawing. I'm not sure, but the one that had that stretched mouth.
Too focused on breaking its speedometer with sheer insane speed, tearing down the highway at over 100 miles an hour, then building and building and building. 056 is lucky that there are seemingly no other cars on the road tonight. Well, except one that it notices far in the distance behind itself. Is that a beat-up old police cruiser? How embarrassing. 056 speeds up even more, hoping to leave the police cruiser as little more than a distant memory. But it doesn't work out that way. Instead, the beat-up police cruiser miles behind 056's sleek supercar begins to build in speed. Little by little, it seems to be doing the impossible, catching up. Being a thoroughly arrogant and unpleasant anomaly, 056 doesn't take the prospect of being humiliated lightly. It decides to take a sharp left turn off of the highway onto a mostly dirty side road, slowing down slightly, as though to challenge the police cruiser to carry on the chase. The police cruiser accepts the challenge and makes the turn after 056 with shocking speed. How is this busted-up old police cruiser keeping pace with a brand new anomalous Bugatti?
You know what's crazy though? SCP-056 could technically drive literally forever. So it would stop 973 from ever going against, like going for another person, unless it would just like give up chase.
056
Guess we'll find out.
But it won't give in. It has to keep believing it's the best, no matter what. 056 tears off down the road until it reaches some dense woods with only a single dirt road cutting through the middle. The Bugatti's wheels kick up mud and dry leaves, its roaring engine sending the animals of the forest scattering in every direction. And still, the police cruiser follows, its high beams cutting through the murky gloom of the forest. Suddenly, it goes from eerie silence, save for the roar of twin engines, to the flashes of red and blue lights and the shrill wail of the police cruiser's siren. 056 finds the whole arrangement laughable. It's escaped the SCP Foundation before. Did some small-town cop really believe he could take 056 down?
True.
What 056 doesn't know is that it isn't being followed by just any small-town cop. It gets a clue to the true horrifying nature of its pursuer when the Bugatti's radio crackles into life, and a single word begins endlessly repeating in a warped, scratchy voice suffused with static. Run, 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 run. 056 is at a loss.
That'd be so weird because 056 takes the personality, or not the personality, the whole shape, form, atom, blah, blah, of the whatever it transforms into. But that's really weird that its radio is like actually working. Like 973 would actually affect its radio. I don't know why that like doesn't add up in my mind. Who knows? But I guess it makes sense.
This doesn't make sense. It shouldn't be possible for any normal
police
cruiser to have this effect. Unless, before 056 can even finish the thought, the police cruiser closes the distance in a single freakish burst of speed. It smashes into the back of the Bugatti and rams it into a brutal tailspin, sending it skidding off the dirt road and crashing into the trees, where it flips twice and comes to rest upside down. Totaled. Its radio still repeats that single warped, ominous word. Run, 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 run.
Damn.
056 is stunned as it lays, injured and in car form, against the cold and unyielding trees of this dark, isolated forest.
Can't it turn into like a tree or like a bird and just fly away?
Is cruiser some kind of undercover tactical vehicle in league with those worthless worms at the SCP Foundation? The police cruiser has ground to a halt on the dirt road, idling, its lights still cutting through the gloom. The driver's door, marked with the words, Protect and serve, slides open, and a shadowy figure steps out. 056 can immediately sense an inhuman presence in its midst. This may look like some doughy, middle-aged cop with a handlebar mustache, but that's just a disguise. And if anyone understands disguises, it's SCP-056.
056, yeah,
What
that was hard.
056 doesn't know is that the entity about to attack it is, in fact, known to the SCP Foundation, but isn't aligned with them in the slightest. They refer to it as SCP-973, codenamed Smokey, an anomalous police cruiser that contains a terrifying occupant.
I feel like the O opened up because it was like supposed to represent its mouth. I'm pretty sure its mouth does drop open. I can't remember.
It's known as one of the more deadly, mysterious, and sadistic creatures that the Foundation still hasn't fully succeeded in containing. Any humans who fall prey to it have a terrifying demise in store for them. But how would an anomaly fare? We're about to find out. Smokey, the nightmarish anomalous police officer, begins walking down the grassy bank towards the overturned Bugatti. His skin is paper pale. His eyes glow a burning brimstone red. He clenches his pale, veiny fists, excited by the thought of the coming violence. This idiot in a sports car really thought it could get away from him? No one gets away from Smokey. Exit the vehicle, boy, Smokey says in a crackling southern drawl, or I'm gonna rip you out of it. But Smokey doesn't wait for an answer. He charges forward and digs his fingers into the metal of the car, displaying his terrifying superhuman strength. He begins tearing away parts of the car, peeling back panels of metal like a normal person would peel an orange. He imagines the terror of the person within, the sweet fruit under all these layers of obstruction. Gonna get you, boy, he repeats, voice almost shaking with excitement. Gonna get you. Gonna get you. Gonna make you scream. Gonna make you scream like a scared little piggy. Then suddenly, the car just vanishes. The chunks of metal he's holding are gone. Smokey looks around, baffled. He's done strange and terrible things on these roads, but this is still a new one, even for him.
Is it actually a
He
sentient
looks up and
SCP?
stares into the darkness of the forest. The car is nowhere to be seen out there. Where are you, boy? Smokey rasps. You think you can run from me? Smokey hears a subdued scoff coming from behind the tree in front of him, followed by a tall, dark stranger stepping out into the dim light of the cruiser's high beams. It's SCP-056, but it isn't taking the form of a luxury sports car anymore. Now, it's taking the form of a cinematic legend, Dirty Harry, as played by Clint Eastwood, the ultimate shoot first, ask questions later cop. You think I'm running from you, punk? Harry asked. Truth is, I was sick of looking at that ugly mug of yours. Figured I'd take 5 before I came back and put a bullet through it. Smokey growls, his jaw unhinging and extending into a horrific black hole. Not exactly disproving my point there, Slick, Harry chided. Smokey isn't one for trading barbs. He runs towards Harry with his hands extended, claws growing out of the tips of his fingers. But Harry knows he's dealing with a monster now, and he's ready to fight back. Quicker than Smokey can even notice,
I'm ready.
Harry reaches into a holster in his coat and pulls out his trademark weapon, the .44 Magnum revolver, one of the most powerful revolvers ever made.
The 44.
He's a dead shot with it. Harry draws a bead on Smokey and fires a high-powered round through the monster's forehead. Smokey is staggered for a moment, seemingly almost stunned by the shot, but the effects wear off quickly. Smokey roars and swings for Harry, who dodges in the nick of time. Smokey's clawed hand tears through the bark of a nearby tree. 056 buries a moment of quiet anxiety. It thinks, even for me, this thing is powerful. I need to watch my step. You ought to show me some respect, boy. Smokey growls. I'm a man of the law. You have no idea what you're dealing with.
It's still
he swings
staying
again and again for Harry, forcing him further back into the...
You know what's creepy about it is it's staying in character. And I was sure that it was at the point where I thought Smokey realized it was dealing with an anomaly too, but maybe it does, but it still has to stay in character. That's kind of creepy as hell.
Forest 056 tries its best to maintain that unflappable Eastwood calm. Respect is earned, not given, punk, Harry says, leveling his magnum. You think you're hot stuff because you torture and terrorize? Putting down scum like you is exactly why I joined the Force. Harry unleashes, emptying the cylinder into Smokey's center mass. Bang, 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 bang. Smokey's body does the bullet dance as Harry's magnum rounds punch into him like hypersonic metal fists. Smokey digs his feet into the ground and steadies himself. Harry reaches into his pocket for some spare rounds, discharges the empty shells from the cylinder, and begins quickly reloading the revolver. Smokey gives him no quarter. The demonic cop charges forward and grabs Harry by the lapels of his suit jacket, lifting him off the ground and slamming his back into a nearby tree. The revolver falls from his hand and clatters to the forest floor. Smokey has the upper hand now. His grip is ironclad. It seems as though 056, even as Dirty Harry, won't be able to escape this one. Smokey presses him against the tree until 056 can feel the bark creaking and his bones beginning to buckle. Not so talky now, are we, boy? Smokey snickers. I'm gonna kill you slow. You're gonna beg for mercy. You're a good fighter, 056 said, beginning to shift, but I'm better. Moments later,
let's go. I was about to say.
is no longer Dirty Harry. Now,
oh my God, he's John Wick.
Movie super assassin specialized in almost every form of combat.
That's
Smokey is briefly confused, and 056 takes advantage of that. With a few expert strikes to Smokey's face, 056 is able to wriggle out of his grip and kick Smokey in the chest, creating some distance between them. Let's go. It's been too long since I've had a decent workout, 056, as John Wick says. Smokey reaches for John Wick, but John, drawing upon his years of combat experience, blocks Smokey's attack and returns a brutal flurry of blows to Smokey's face and chest. Every time Smokey swings with his supernatural strength, 056 swipes at his arms and uses his momentum against him. While Smokey clearly has the strength advantage by the nature of SCP-056's anomalous ability, this form clearly trounces Smokey in terms of skill. Part of 056 is afraid, having rarely been met with this level of resistance. Another part of 056 is exhilarated. Getting to be better than an entity this formidable is a truly thrilling experience.
Yeah, I bet.
You're really starting to get on my nerves, boy.
What else
Smokey
can
says, pulling out a
973
nightstick
do?
from his police belt. 056 draws a long titanium combat knife out of his coat. Prove it, he says, assuming a knife-fighting stance. Smokey swings for 056 with his nightstick, who blocks it with the edge of his blade. What follows is almost a kind of sword fight, where 056 and Smokey take turns striking and parrying with their respective weapons. 056 cracks his neck, giving a smarmy grin that only irritates Smokey further. The demonic cop throws his nightstick directly at 056's face. The arrogant Anomaly is able to deflect the well-aimed stick with his knife, only to realize that it was just a distraction from the following haymaker. Smokey's fist collides with 056's cheek with the force of a runaway car. It knocks him off his feet, taking his legs out from under him and throwing him to the ground with a mighty thud. And Smokey doesn't let up. He crouches over the stunned 056 and strikes him again and again, pounding his clenched fists into 056's head. If the self-obsessed Anomaly had any chance to speak, it probably would have yelled, "Not the face! Not the face!" Unlucky for 056, mercy is not a word in Smokey's vocabulary. 056 doesn't have time to transform. With every punch, 056's body is pounded deeper into the dirt. He can feel himself losing consciousness under the flurry of blows. For the first time, he's truly terrified about what will happen to him if he passes out. What terrible things will Smokey do to him? Suddenly, floodlights illuminate the forest from every angle. The hum of helicopters sound from far above. Tactical vehicles surround the forest, manned by highly trained, highly armed SCP Foundation mobile task forces. Snipers line up their shots on Smokey, preparing to fire with armor-piercing 50 caliber rounds. Ground troops armed with assault rifles all pour in. As though a magic spell has been cast, Smokey, along with his cursed cruiser, disappears. All that's left is a bruised, bloody, and disoriented SCP-056, still shaking in pain and terror on the ground. It doesn't take long for 056 to be surrounded by Foundation personnel, ready to take it back into containment. To even its own surprise, it's tremendously relieved. 056, whimpering, says, "I'd like to go back to my room, please." Check out the Dr. Bob Patreon and become a junior...
Okay, give me 1 second. Who wrote this? People are saying Okay, so some people are saying, while this was brutal, I love how 973 humbled 056. Now I want to see 973 get humbled by 096. 056 getting humbled by 973 is not something I'd expect. I love these verses. 973 056. Okay, so what I would say is nicely written story. Whoever put the amount of work into that. I think Dr. Bob, he reads people's stories, right? I would say I don't particularly like how this went down, right? Because John Wick is seemingly undefeatable, and if 056 takes the characteristics of who, like, whatever he transforms into, he wouldn't, like, I guess the slight difference or the slight quirk to the SCP made it so he doesn't completely take the personalities, but the deflection of the baton or the baton into just was not believable to me. I don't know. It's like yeah, trying to wrap my mind around it is actually making it hard for me to even respond to how this went, but I just don't believe this right here. I don't believe that from a creature who could basically turn into Hulk if he wanted to, and like completely blitz 973's strength. Like 056 is, I forgot what the characteristics of 973 are. I don't know if it's just a relentless pursuit, and then like, yeah, I remember that, like every time they try to contain at 973 it just disappears. But the thing is 056 is seemingly like OP. Like if 056 knew about John Wick and the Clint Eastwood dude or whatever the fuck his name was, he'd be able to basically turn into, I'm thinking anything. My man knew what a real Gucci bag was off of seeing a fake one. So I'm just thinking like he could have turned into Goku from Dragon Ball Z. Like, this is a world with anomalous properties and all that. I'm not really believing that he turned into John Wick. I don't remember if 056 has to turn into, no, because John Wick's a fictional character too, so that's not, yeah. He literally, not believing it. Parts of the story are a little bit weak parts of this made up verses are a little bit weak for me. And I feel like 056 wasn't 056 supposed to be like regarded as a highly intelligent anomaly too? Like, I just feel like if it knew it was dealing with a monster, etc., it would maybe try to shoot it, but then it wouldn't try to reload. Yeah, I'm being that guy. I feel like I could write a more believable story than this one with the fight, because it just feels like 056 would beat 973. And then if it really feared for its life, or really was like intelligent and knew like, yo, I had to get out of here, it would just turn into a bird or fly away, or even use more options it had in its deception department, turning into a tree, turning into dirt, a pile of dirt, and getting it to leave and saying, whoa, that was a close call. I do like how it ended though, with the Foundation finding them. But then again, another thing is like, does the SCP Foundation have a radar for like anomalies that are loose? I don't know. Maybe these roads are common for 973, so they came to check if it came across some unfortunate victims. I'm assuming that's what the thing in the beginning was, when it talked about over the radio, it found a crash car. It must have been this same night or something like that, so it went for another victim. Yeah, I don't know. It's like 056 can literally turn into anything and adopt the properties of it. Why wouldn't he turn into Hulk and try to match its strength? Yeah, I don't know. There's just weird holes in the story I don't like, that just don't make sense. If this creature is smart enough to outsmart the SCP Foundation and escape. Yeah, not sure. But this would be a creepy entity to come up against, man. I remember that jaw-dropping shit. Oh, that's just creepy. Alright, well, much love Moonlight. Not sure if I believe it, but It's a good story nonetheless, but I just think 056 has way more many things in the arsenal. It could literally be getting punched and be like, okay, earlier we just seen it turning into a kung fu master and beating up the dudes. It showed us turning into a way more, I guess, like a beautiful woman to make everybody feel bad. Like, it obviously knows what it's doing. And it changed into John Wick. Come on now. If it realized its strength, it should have just turned into like a werewolf or something. Wolverine? I don't know. Alright. Myself, Moonlight. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.